basically human sacrifice.
That's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic.
There is
who doesn't like that?
Are you talking about like when you didn't move your pawn and it gets crushed by the gears? Is that what you
that's
mean by
fantastic.
sacrifice?
I love that part. Well, let's move on to segment 3, and it's going to be Play, Shelf, Trade, hosted by Jungle Jack John.
That is correct. And as I'm still the reigning champion on picking games for Play, Shelf, Trade, and I'm going to just bump. I'm just going to bump my value up a little bit this week because I've got some good ones here, and I have a theme. I like to have a theme because I'm a theme guy. The theme today is worker placement. So we're going to have 3 worker placement games to choose from. And once again, they're all games people have probably played or heard of. So I bet everyone here has played every one of these games. This might be the first list where everyone's played every game. There's some value in that. I should get points just for the list. Anyway, let me move on. So worker placement. What we've got here, we've got the classic that Daniel mentioned earlier. I don't know if it's really, is it old enough to be a classic? Lords of Waterdeep. It was the very first worker placement game that I ever played, I believe.
I'll call it a classic at this point.
It's a board game classic for sure.
And it's
it's more than 6 months, so it's definitely a classic. And Daniel
exactly. If it's not new hotness, it's a classic.
That's right.
Or it's garbage.
Yep.
So Lords of Waterdeep. Then another one that some say is very thematic, and that is Tzolk'in or Tzolk'in, however you want to say it.
I don't think anybody's ever called that thematic, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Well,
Some
It's
have.
thematic. It's very
Anyway, and then the last one, which most people throw this into the deck building category, but I think it fits better in the worker placement category, and that is Lost Ruins of Arnak. So those are your 3 games. What say you, Chris? What's
All
your
right,
play?
well-
Oh, wait, I didn't go over the rules real quick.
Oh, okay.
This is Play, Shelf, Trade, everyone. In case you're not sure what that means, you're going to pick which game you want to play right away. You're going to pick which game you're going to put on the shelf for later. It's not bad, but I'm going to put on the shelf for later. And then the third game, I'm going to use a phrase that Chris coined last time. Which one you're going to get rid of, like yesterday's Judas, and just throw that game out the window. You're going to trade that one away as quickly as possible. So that's Andy. Try to remember what the actual categories are: play, shelf, and trade. And we'll move on to Chris. Chris, what do you say about that, buddy?
So I'm going to start with my shelf. I'm going to shelf Lords of Waterdeep because it is that classic. It is a game I enjoy. Kind of a new player kind of game. You can kind of teach it very easily. Anyone can play it. But there is still some strategy to it. It is rewarding both the first play and the 20th play. So I want to have that one in my collection for when I want to go to that well when I'm playing with someone new. But maybe even when I'm playing with someone that doesn't do as well. So I'm going to put that on the shelf. And then I am going to play Tzolk'in because I actually just played it the other night. And it was as good as ever. Still love that game. Someday I would still love to paint the gears, but I mean that's a lofty goal because and that game also is just it's great in the fact that it's got to be the best like gimmick to game I've ever played. That game is unplayable without the gimmick of the gears. I mean you could do it, but it would be awful trying to keep track of all that stuff. So it looks super cool. It looks really gimmicky, but it's actually fantastic and makes the game just blissful. It's a great play. Every single time I get done, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this strategy next time. I never do because I forget, but I always think about it.
Yep.
And then I'm going to trade Lost Ruins of Arnak because it's worth something. I'm probably going to get a good value back from it. And Daniel ruined that game for me by calling it a deck builder, and it's absolutely not. And I just can't get past that, and I don't like it because of it. Daniel, you are my yesterday's Judas. What about you, Andy?
Very nice.
Well, thank you, Chris. I'm going to go with the following. First of all, so I think I would marry. Is it date, marry, kill, right? Or
No, I don't believe that's what it is at all.
play, shelf, trade.
That sounds like a very inappropriate game that you're mentioning.
Well,
we
I
would
changed
never
it.
endorse here.
I changed it to be more PG. Anyway, I'm going to go with the game I would like to play. That will be probably Lost Ruins of Arnak. I've enjoyed playing it lately. I enjoy that game a lot. I don't have it and I'm not going to get it because Daniel has it. My friend Tyler has it. I've got several people that have it. So I'm not going to buy it, but it's not a bad game. And I've got Dune Imperium, which plays a little similar. There's some comparisons, but I really like Lost Ruins of Arnak. Every time I've played it, I've grown to like it more and more. As far as game that I'm going to put on the shelf, that will be the classic Tzolk'in. Tzolk'in's an awesome game. The only bad part of Tzolk'in is it is a lot of setup and there's a lot of pieces, but it is a wonderful game. It is a classic. I love the way the gears shift, and I don't know what you're talking about as far as a theme. It's got a great theme. I don't know. This is going to make me sound stupid, but it's either Mayan or Aztec, right? Is it Mayan? I think
the theme is basically human sacrifice.
That's a great theme. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic.
There is
who doesn't like that?
Are you talking about like when you didn't move your pawn and it gets crushed by the gears? Is that what you
that's
mean
fantastic.
By sacrifice?
I love that part. I love that, and I love the having to collect the corn and the what have you.
Fishing for corn.
The cornfish.
Go up on the god tracks.
Corn.
It really is a fantastic game, and you know what's cool about it is I've played it probably about 20 or 30 times, and I really feel like there's still a lot to be learned in that game because I've played it with some of you guys, and it's a fairly competitive game. Then I played one time on Board Game Arena against somebody who just smoked me, and I'm like, what are they doing? How are they destroying me? So there's still a lot to be learned there. I think it's definitely a really great game. As far as what game I'm going to trade, that'll be Cubes of Waterdeep. Sorry, I just the talk about a themeless game. I mean, let's slap Dungeons and Dragons on it and sell it and whatever. Yes, it is a good worker placement game and it's a classic, but really the theme is pointless and the cubes are very uninspiring. Now, I have heard that the expansion makes it a lot better, but I've never played it with the expansion. So that's what I think. Daniel?
All right. Well, while I enjoy these three games greatly, all three of them, mind you, do you want to switch over to me there? Bob?
No, he doesn't.
Nope.
Yeah, it's about
Daniel.
That should cost him a point.
Exactly.
You were so enthralled hearing me talk
Questioning
here.
the man behind the curtain. How dare you?
Vanity much? Vanity?
All right. Well, since I like all three of these games a lot, so I wouldn't really, in real life, I wouldn't get rid of any of them. But since I have to force to pick one, I'm gonna say I'm gonna get rid of Lord of the Ring or Lords of Waterdeep, largely because I have this game. I told you already, it replaces Lords of Waterdeep. All right, the other one, I'm gonna choose to play Lost Ruins of Arnak. I recently just played Tzolk'in, and it was a great experience. But I really, really enjoy Lost Ruins of Arnak. I love how it combines the deck building. Yes, it is deck building, okay? Just because you don't shuffle your deck 20 times doesn't negate the fact that it is a deck builder. But it does a wonderful job at meshing deck building and worker placement together like no other game ever has. It does it the best. So... yeah, actually, I just want to take a moment to say I am shocked to hear that Andy actually likes this game because I thought he was totally on the outs with it. So I didn't think he was ever going to play with me again. So, and then obviously the one I'm on his shelf is going to be Tzolk'in. Tzolk'in has been in my collection for about 10 years. No, not that long. It's been in there for a very long time, but I only recently played it 2 years ago during the pandemic, and I fell in love with it really quick. I love how those gears move together. And as Chris said, that the game's unplayable without it. While it is playable, if you didn't have the gears, you'd literally be pushing up like 6 things every turn. And that nobody wants to do that. So there you go. Those are my play shelf. John, what about you?
Thank you, Daniel. Actually, another interesting thing about this list is I don't own any of these 3 games. So even though I played all of them,
I own all 3. Go figure.
But so it just shows you I'm not afraid to step out there with my list, put some stuff out there I don't own. But anyway, on this list, my play is going to surprise you. My play is actually going to be Lords of Waterdeep. I think I'm the only one that's had that one as the play and it's the oldest one on there, and that goes against me. And especially if I could play it like Andy was saying, play it with the expansion, because I've never played it with the expansion, but I'd even just play the base game just because it's been so long since I played it. So Lords of Waterdeep's going to be my play. It might not be the best game on the list, but that's going to be my play.
Where did Daniel go? Oh, there he is.
My shelf, if Andy's still listening.
He just disappeared. I'm ADHD, so I saw somebody leave the screen, and I go, wait, no.
That's it.
Oh, gee.
Now Andy's looking at me again. So my shelf is going to be Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's an amazing game. I would always play it. It's just because I've played it way more recently than I played Lords of Waterdeep. But I've enjoyed every play of Lost Ruins of Arnak. I don't know what anyone says when they don't enjoy it. If it's deck building, if it's not deck building, whatever it is, you're gaining cards, you're manipulating your hand. It's close enough to deck building to call it deck building, but it is definitely worker placement, and it's actually pretty thematic for what you do. So I like Lost Ruins of Arnak a lot, but it's going on the shelf for now. And the one I'm trading away is going to be that Tzolk'in game that some people do say it's thematic. The theme is a big gear. That's the theme. Right. And it's just spatial judgment of what's going to happen next. I'm sorry. It's played out. It's not really that interesting to play. And it's not that I'm bad at it. I've won my share of games of Tzolk'in, but I don't get that much enjoyment out of it even when I win it, because it's just, oh yeah, I was able to predict where the gear was going to go, and I had a favorable spot on there, and when I started I had this, and so that let me get this. There we go. I won the game of Tzolk'in. So it just doesn't do it for me. Play, win, lose, draw, whatever. I don't ever really have much fun with Tzolk'in. So Tzolk'in, get out of here. I'm offering you up on the altar and sacrificing you. That was perfect timing on the sound effect, by the way. Thank you for that. All right.
So
that's
John,
what I got. Everybody agree with me on that one? What was that,
Chris? Would you like it better if instead of having like a little wooden peg as your meeple, if it was like a paper doll? Would you feel better about it then?
He just wants it closer. He just wants it to be about the Mayan mafia, and then he'd be fine.
Highly historical.
Maybe if it was about Malaysia, it'd be better.
Oh, that's true.
So, John, this is definitely the best 3 games on Play Shelf Trade, but unfortunately, you totally ruined it with your 3 picks, because that was just the worst thing I've ever heard. So.
How can it be bad if they're all good games? Anything I say should be good.
All right. Well, is that it for Play Shelf Trade? I think it is.
I believe that is it for Play Shelf Trade.
Yeah, well, let us know which one you would play, which one you would shelf, and which one you would trade, and tell us why John is horribly wrong.
Nope. You can't be wrong. It's an opinion. But you guys were wrong.
The internet says otherwise.
That is incorrect.
All right.
Do we have another segment left?
All right. Oh, that's the sound of the end of the round. If you enjoyed what you just watched, click on the embedded video for the rest of the episode.